Yes.
Sometimes and I'll call the meeting to order. And that must be, I don't know who's on the iPad. Wade said he's going to try to join as well. So he said he would have audio but no video. So Wade is, Poulton, Poulton. He's the vice president of Nickerson and O'Day. And I have spoken with him a couple of times recently. And I guess we'll get into all of that good stuff in a second. So first we'll just, any recommended changes or additions or scratches to the minutes from April 7th?
I move we accept the minutes as.
I'll second.
All those in favor? And so next, I think the big thing, obviously, we know we've lost Dawn, so we're all going to try to pick up the pieces and move forward. I spoke to Andrew today and Wade I actually called Nickerson and O'Day and talked to the ladies there to make sure that as the invoices come in, they'll send them to me to make sure that we have those. I hadn't received the one from for this month, but Wade kept saying, don't worry. That is not something we're worried about right now. And I said, I know, but I will need to have them. So, and once I get that spreadsheet, I should be able to import it and then make sure that I know where she is to start entering the new figures. So, because I should be able to just import, a spreadsheet into my own device and then be able to manipulate it and put in her. Well, exactly. And Jeff is really amazing with spreadsheets and stuff. I hate spreadsheets. So between the two of them, we'll get that squared away. And, Justin and Lori assured me that whatever help we need moving forward, making sure we know what's been paid, what hasn't been paid, that will have that support from them. And let's see. It must be Wade. Yeah, I think that's Wade. That you, Wade? So,
yes, it is.
Hi, Wade.
Oh.
So,
Hi there. How are you today?
We're good. So I was just starting to go over what we have planned for Thursday. So I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Sure, I can jump. Yeah, I can jump in.
Yeah.
So for those of you who I have not met, my name is Wade Poulton. I'm the Executive Vice President for Nickerson and O'Day. I'm kind of picking up the ball here to take it over the goal line, basically. Nate accepted a job with somebody that's a little closer to home for him and cuts down on his commute. So he's been very communicative in the past couple of weeks with me, trying to, get me up to speed on the project. But please bear with me as I, get familiar with some of the details. But obviously there's a big event scheduled for Thursday, and before I get into that, I do want to say, please accept our condolences. I was informed earlier today about Dawn's passing, and that's very tough news, I'm sure, for everybody around the table. It was tough news for us to hear, and she's been so instrumental in this process. But I agree with, what I know anyway, is that Dawn would definitely want us to keep, our foot on the gas and keep going. So as long as there's no objections, Chris and I discussed keeping the event on schedule for Thursday. And so I can talk a little bit about how I envision the event going. It's typically, we do these events with new construction oftentimes, and we call them a topping off ceremony. So if you hear me use that terminology, it's very similar to what we're doing here at Monmouth Academy with the bell tower, except in new construction, it's typically a steel beam that's saved for last and hoisted into place with, some ceremonial event going on, just like we're doing. So if you're topping off ceremony, that's what I'm referring to this as, because it's so similar. And I figured that we're shooting for 11 o'clock for folks from the media to show up. But what I was going to do is bring down some Sharpies and we could take a few minutes before 11 and get folks who've been involved with the project to sign, the bell tower in a spot where their signature will be preserved for, the next 175 years to come. If everybody's okay with that. If you don't want to, there's nobody saying that you have to do it by any means. And then from there, we would, shortly after 11, maybe 5 minutes after 11 or so, we'd try to actually get the festivities going. And I can bring a podium down if anybody is hoping to say a few words. I kind of pictured that occurring. Maybe just a couple minute speech from one or two people on the committee would be good. I can say a few words, certainly, although, I think folks would rather hear from you. But I can do the MC, duties of the event as well, and, kind of kick things off and then introduce folks and do it that way. I'm comfortable with either. And after we've said a few words, I'm talking about like 5 minutes worth of speaking in total, I think is plenty. We would cut right to the chase. Cody Crane would already have the bell tower connected to the crane. So at that point, it's just a matter of picking it up and swinging it over, dropping it into place. And then, the cameras will want to obviously all capture that from different angles and whatnot. And this is probably all told a 15-minute event or so. Not much beyond that, I don't envision. The news channels are always in a rush. They always get somewhere to go. So you're going to get their attention for about 15 minutes typically. So that's kind of what I envision happening. And then somebody can say a few words. If that's me, that's fine. Just thank you for folks for attending and, wishing them safe travels and so on and so forth. That's kind of in a nutshell how I see the event going. And certainly we can adapt that in any way we need to work for what you folks had in mind.
I think that's a great plan. Yeah, and I know that, the other thing on there, we'll come up with a plan on grabbing some snacks and having just some coffee or cookies or something, out. So, and I planned on bringing the throws to have on a table because who knows, somebody will come that didn't know we had the throws or whatever. So,
Right.
and we'll use that as well. To market ourselves.
This is a rain or shine thing.
Yeah.
No, I think if it's raining, you do have a rain date, Wade, correct?
I didn't advertise the rain date in
Okay.
that press release only because it's not going to make a difference if we write
Yeah.
a rain date in there or not. If we have to
Yeah.
move the event, we'll just have to call everybody and let them know.
Yeah, but I mean, Wednesday, Thursday is looking pretty decent both days this week right now that I've been monitoring it. Thursday is better than Wednesday even, so.
Yeah.
You'll have to sign my name.
I think as long as it's not a downpour or it's not.
Thursday. Jeez, I'm worried.
I know, sorry. That's why I sent you that message. I said afternoon's better.
Oh.
Because you said you were in short time. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you'll have to sign my name, please.
We will, for sure.
Thanks.
Wade, are you still planning on doing a test fit the day before?
That's the game plan. Yep.
Okay, good.
So they're actually gonna lift it and try to set it on there.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
I would say
Right.
wind is going to be more important than rain. If we have a really
Exactly.
windy day for some reason,
Oh,
that
God.
will put a damper on things.
Imagine.
Yeah, but it didn't look like it was windy because it's kind of overcast and normally when it's overcast, it's not really that windy. So usually it's when
Yeah,
those
that's
blue
true.
sky days that the wind is blowing up on our little knoll here.
Absolutely.
8 miles an hour.
So,
8 mile an hour wind is what it says for Thursday, 7 to 8.
Would
so,
would anybody like to volunteer to do any speaking part in this? I'm picturing bringing a little podium and a PA system for, I'm not sure how the audio will be for folks. So we just have a little speaker with a microphone that just kind of amplifies your voice if you're in an area where it's hard for folks to hear.
Well, I'm sure that we can pull something together as a group for, thanking people and what it means to
Yeah.
us to
Again, I
have
think
this
60
project
seconds,
moving
90
forward,
seconds.
so. Yeah,
And maybe something
Yep.
about Dawn.
yes,
Yes,
of
definitely
course.
about Dawn.
And we were gonna see if Ed Spencer was available to come over.
Did you reach out to him?
I
yet?
haven't yet.
I can.
Yeah.
Kind of do a
see-
blessing. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
kind of
I
a
can-
blessing. I think that would be a good thing, so. And see if he's available, because he was quite friendly with
With
them,
them,
so.
yes, close to them.
Yeah.
I can,
So-
I'll send him a message tonight for Thursday
Yeah.
to be here 10:30, 10:45.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. That would be great. I
I
think,
nail this right now, but just getting an idea for how many people would like to speak would be helpful. That's all.
well, I wouldn't think, I think if we had the pastor do a blessing and mention Dawn, and then, I would come up with just some brief words about the project and getting it across the finish line, I think, at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But,
think that sounds great.
yeah. Yeah, most everybody on this board is fairly quiet except for Lori and I. And Lori's not, well, she's pretending she's stunned, but.
We're very.
But-
Is there anyone who's an alum, like a alum that's got some years behind them since they graduated that could speak?
We're all,
Well, pretty much.
Most of us are all, well, no, well, I guess the
Half of
three of
us
us
are,
are,
yeah.
so, but, there's Lori's father was the principal and then superintendent, and then my dad was on the school board for a long time, and my family's had 6 generations go through there, so. Yes,
Yep.
we'll pull together something and, I asked our person that handles the town's Facebook and notifications, so he's putting it out on all the channels.
Yeah,
For
people
us.
love that kind of stuff. 6 generations, that's the perfect kind of thing I would think to mention in a short speech.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we'll cobble together a short little thing about Monmouth and the school, what it means to us, and
Yeah,
I always like to
I can
say.
do an outline too for the whole event if that would be helpful. Just kind of
Yeah.
minute by minute what I anticipate happening.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I can text you or email you or whatever, but I think it would probably be, you welcoming and then perhaps
Ed.
Ed,
Yeah,
and
that would be
then,
great.
and then me pulling up the rear. I can pull it off without crying. So. Because you mentioned Dawn and my father in the same sentence, I might cry, so. But,
Understood.
yeah, so. I think that's a good plan, but I can, if you put together an outline, I can fill in the names and things like that for you.
Okay, great. I will do that.
And Andrew, what about you or Paul? From
Yeah.
the design aspect of
Architect
this.
would be great, too.
I'm happy to say Paul won't be able to make it because the AIA Main Design Awards are Thursday night, and he is the design chair and the
Oh.
MC, so he'll be setting up the building and stuff for the reception and all that. So he will be indisposed all day. I will be there. I'm happy to say some things.
Yeah.
And we're Yeah, I'm happy to get up and say some things. I'll have to think about it, I guess, of what I would say, since obviously the building isn't really finished, to
Yeah.
the full sort of design thing, but we can talk about like the challenge and joy of working in a historic building, and trying to capture but modernize and capture the historicism but modernize the building in a way where it's usable and comfortable for another 200 years, things like that. I mean, yeah, I can spin a little tale of wonder and joy. So sure, if you want me to, that, I mean, if we're speaking for 5-10
I
minutes.
do think it is nice. Yeah, it is good to hear from the architect and design side of things, and I think
Yes.
people enjoy that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
certainly.
yeah.
Do the table with food and throws if you want me to bring up the table
Yeah,
and
we'll
set
bring
that
all
up
that
and
stuff up and.
we can
have
run
that
out
in.
early and
Well, I'll
like
just.
Dunkin' or something.
No,
I don't
I'll
know.
make pots of coffee and I've got
Right.
thermoses and so,
Okay.
and then I was just gonna go out to Hannaford and get some goodies,
I've
cause,
just sent him a message.
okay,
Respond.
yeah, and, does anybody else have any wishes or desires for that?
Did you happen to contact the school to see if they wanted to all step out on the?
Well,
lawn?
I'm going to be over there on Wednesday
Okay.
for the trustees, so I'm
What time?
going to let them know on Wednesday that this is happening, unless you want to.
Nope.
You have a.
Brandon, the principal should be back. He's
Okay.
been out for
Yeah,
back surgery. He's going to be in only mornings,
okay,
7 to noon or 7 to 11:30. So if you're there in the morning, I would speak with him.
yeah,
If not, Steve Bell.
okay. And let them know, because I thought that,
Superintendent.
Oh, yeah, Rick.
I'll let Rick know. I'll send Rick and Brandon an email. I'll compose an email tonight to Rick and Brandon and let them know that this is happening if, perhaps any of, if they want to, step out to watch, or if any of the
Yes, he'll
teachers
be here.
are interested in, the physics aspect of that, design aspect of that, a teaching moment or something, so.
Absolutely.
Are they gonna ring the bell?
I think that we were hoping that we could ring the bell and from whoever is up there attaching it,
Is the plan.
actually make the bell ring. There won't be,
Can't we make it noontime?
make a rope available, so, cause I mean, the rope is like the next step after, threading that down through. I don't think the plan is to have the rope attached, so whoever is up there.
Right. Dave will be up
Making the
there. Dave will have
connection.
somebody up there to make it ring. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, so that's the plan, I would think, but,
Okay, so Ed Spencer is a
I
definite.
will,
okay.
I will be bringing some hard hats. And any idea, how many would be a good amount?
Hard hat for what? Are you guys going up there?
Hard hats for folks, well, for folks that are gonna be standing nearby. I mean, I assume that the crane's gonna be relatively close by. It's good, it's not only that, it's
Okay,
just
just in
good
case, yeah.
publicity.
PR.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Department. of Work.
okay, exactly, we don't want OSHA on site, so, yeah.
No,
I'm
like, why? We all gonna stand inside?
Well, I mean, I think this lawn here in front of this building is the perfect spot to have, anybody that's coming to watch it. And then we'd be set up more on the other side of the driveway, out of the way, depending on where the crane is. So, that's the plan, but I don't know. What are we thinking for hard hats? What's a good number, Andrew? 10 or 12 or something like that?
perfect, yeah.
That's probably more than we'll need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bring your own hard hat if you have one, right, Steve? You gave that up.
I threw that away.
I think my father had a gold one from Bath Iron Works that they gave him, but we could grab that, but, yeah.
one for each of you guys and maybe double it for any really interested spectators that want to get closer.
Yeah, yeah.
What about the TV
Well,
reporters or
No, they'll be standing.
I
Okay.
think they'd have to be back farther, especially to get.
Cody Crane's not gonna let anybody get that close to the
Close, no.
operation anyway.
No,
They're gonna make sure everyone's back out
yeah,
of harm's way.
yeah. So I think that would probably be, it's better to have more than not enough. So, yeah, I think that's a good number.
Start time.
11.
Well, it sounds like a dozen is a good number, is that right?
Yeah, I think that probably is good. Yeah.
Okay, easy enough.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris,
sounds
you had
great.
mentioned too, I don't want to hijack the, agenda, but you had mentioned some concerns about the steel plates.
Yes, I knew that, I didn't know if Andrew reached out to you and, I just wanted to, since you were on, and I forgot to tell you this when we were talking, because we were talking about so many other things too, but, Andrew, I'll let Andrew,
Yeah, so
Address
at
that.
the tail end of last week, Nate Colby had sent me a submittal to review the steel, the plates for binding the column with the bell tower.
Yeah.
I had sent it off to my engineer, and of course, the engineer gets back to me a day after Nate has left the company, which I didn't know this at the time. So I had tried to call Nate and chat with him about it. Basically, the engineer had said that, structurally everything's fine there. He's happy with all of the size of the plate and the amount of bolts and all that stuff, and the joint that you guys have come up with. His only concern is condensation on the steel versus the wood, because the steel is going to have a lower thermal mass than the wood, and that if there's a heat difference, then they could get moist and then sit on the wood, since the steel is bolted directly to the wood. So he thought that over time there could be a rot potential there. I know you're probably using pressure treated and whatnot, but he wanted me to bring that up, and maybe there's a way to like seal the whole sort of steel thing with like zip tape or something. I mean, no one's ever going to see it, so it doesn't have to
We
be
could do
pretty.
that. We could do
It's a
cold
thing,
valve.
yes.
Yeah, there's a number of products we could use. I can send you an email and bounce a couple ideas off you that way, so that we can pass them on to the structural engineer.
Yeah, that'd be
But I think, even if it was Grace Ice and water shields wrapped all the way around
right.
the plate, I would think that would work.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah,
Yep.
same idea.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. I agree. That was my
Yeah.
first thought as well, is to do something
Yeah.
like that, since the steel's already fabricated, and I'm sure it's, if not already bolted, ready to be bolted. So
Right. Yep.
cool, awesome. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yes.
So send me
Well,
whatever.
I appreciate it.
I'll forward that along and see if he's good with it.
Will do.
Well, anything else, Andrew, that you wanted to, well, we've got Wade captive.
Well, anything that I haven't seen yet, I'll see Thursday. So, like I imagine the handrails, they were working on those 2 weeks ago or so. Are those handrails up in place?
They're on site, but they're not in place yet.
Okay.
They showed up this morning.
Wade, do you know if Nate had test fit those? Because obviously they came through the first time and the angle was off. So I'm sure he double checked them when they came on site.
So if they just arrived today, then I don't know if he had a chance to test fit them, or it would be Dave at this point. So I could find out though. I mean, if not, we'll do it while we're there. We can hold them in place while we're there Thursday. Either one.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that was the only other sort of outstanding thing, was the handrails.
It's not too bad.
And they would have been good if the steel manufacturer didn't mess up the bend the first time.
Yeah, I heard the story. Believe me, I heard the story from Nate. He was beside himself about it.
It was a significant amount too. It was like 10 degrees, which, when you're doing handrails, that's pretty big.
Yeah, no, they gotta be right.
Yeah. Okay, great. So if they haven't already been tested by Thursday, I'm sure most of us will be there early anyways. We can just check them.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan to me.
All
Great.
right. Anything else?
All
Anybody
right, I'll
else
get
have
that
any
agenda
questions?
out just as quick as I can.
Question for Andrew, if
Okay.
he's not gonna leave.
No, I don't think Andrew is yet, but Wade, I think that's great. I think if you just send me out that outline and your flow chart of the event, and I'll fill in any names we need, and we'll have that ready to go.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. I'll try to get that out to you tonight.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Wade, and we'll see you on Thursday.
See you on Thursday. Sounds good.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Dr. Bougie, you have a question for Andrew?
Well, I don't know if you want to discuss this now,
Yeah.
but this is about the National Register of Historic Buildings. I thought maybe we could get it just for the facade, the front, because it's Harry Cochran's.
Yeah,
And we have two buildings of Harry Cochran's already on.
yeah,
But Andrew would have to do something to help us. I think I talked about
Yeah,
the,
talked about-
the windows.
yeah. Yeah, and I talked a little bit with you this morning about, did I talk about the windows with you or no? I talked with Wade. I've got my conversations confused. So anyway, through this whole process with the
Main preservation.
Main preservation and the $10 million bond, because we had had our senator submit a bill to open it to people with a historic ordinance, or we'd added the language or comprehensive plan to be able to apply for this. And we went, Dr. Bougie and Steve and I went and gave testimony, and then they had a work session a week ago on Monday, and Dr. Bougie went to that. And he talked to the guys one of the gentlemen from Maine Preservation, and all he keeps coming back to is the windows. But the windows.
Yeah, and the
the
2x6 studs.
And the 2x6
But the windows
studs.
were really big. I mean, he said those windows are not appropriate. So if you could write some kind of a letter or statement that those windows, yes, indeed, are appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, we have before and after shots that we literally fit the openings.
Yeah.
Then if you could write that, make a statement.
They just don't like, the
Yeah.
brick opening didn't change.
No, the
When
brick
it fits
opening
original
wouldn't
brick opening,
change,
so
and one of the
they can
things,
claim that they're not appropriate.
yeah,
He just said they're not.
Well, his initial visit
Yeah,
here. he was
let me
saying
make
they
a
weren't
note
the
of that.
same.
So we're talking about all of the windows or the
Well,
main?
all of the windows, but at least the two in the front. Because if we can get it listed because of Harry Cochran's architecture, then we'd only have those two windows to worry about. But if you could say that they are somewhat architecturally accurate for that time period or a time period.
Well,
and-
yeah, we had them, I mean, they were custom windows to match exactly what was there. Now,
If you could put that in writing, that would be wonderful.
The masonry openings didn't change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and the original, so if you look at those original windows, even the one on the right hand, that picture on the right hand side on the chalkboard, they look just the same.
Yeah.
And that was before the 1940 facade went on. So, even 100 years ago, those windows looked like that. So, and in the 1890s, they had I think 20 panes, but nobody, even Michael Goebel Bain said, well, we weren't expecting, 20 paned windows. And I'm like, well, no, who would? Who wants to pay for those mullions to be
Yeah.
fabricated? But, and to have that picture pretty much show the same configuration of what they look like now. And then Nate had said to me, Marvin windows are one of the only ones listed to be used in historic properties, so.
If you could put that in writing and get it to me, I will reapply, or maybe we could reapply together.
Yeah.
With just the facade.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
it is just ridiculous, but
Jump through this hoop. Oh, no, jump through this hoop.
yeah. But it's gone to appropriations and Randy Greenwood, I texted him last week after Dr. Bougie brought me the language and everything after the work session on it. And Randy said, don't worry, that's pretty common. It's got to go back through appropriations and then they'll go through that. And he said, but I am determined to get this across the finish line for you. So,
Good.
and he is really determined to win this battle for us and also win it with comprehensive plan language in there because it is written right in our comprehensive plan that.
And if the Maine Municipal Association goes along with that, I think
Yes.
that would be a big plus.
Yeah. And
did, email Kate.
yeah. And it seems that, we have somebody that is the chair of the legislative committee. So even though he's had to step away from the discussions on it, because of it coming from our town, but I think that, Justin knows that what it means for us to have this be supported and it made sense, they discussed it with him abstaining and he said Maine Municipal thought it was a good deal for all the towns,
Yes.
so. Yeah, that's the good thing, but. So do you have anything else, Andrew?
No, I'm just looking, I'm trying to go back in my picture history to like where those windows were taken out to see, because I can attach some images, or if you want to send me images of the old windows, then
Yeah, I can send you some pictures because I think I had sent them to you at one time. So I've got a bunch of images of what they have looked like over the years. So I think, I can get you those, Andrew, if you don't have them handy. So
yeah, that would be great. I mean, because we can just reference, and we have the report from John Turk when he originally analyzed the building. And did I send that to you? That might
If you
be.
could send us another copy, that would really be important.
yeah,
Because because when he asked me, why did you guys go with those windows? I said, because our architects told us to.
yeah,
So anything from John Turk and Paul's designs would really help make our case when Steve and I go back.
Yeah, I mean, John specializes in historic preservation, so I mean, anything that he would have suggested, we would have. I mean, we had originally, before he sort of semi-retired and stepped away, had partnered on this project so that he would, do the historic
Yeah.
reports and all of that kind of stuff and make sure we're doing things right, and then we would do the design documents and whatnot.
Then that would answer their question if you could have his report too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't see any pictures in here pre-Marvin Windows, Kristen, so if you could just send me some.
yeah. And I can send you some over the years too. So I've got quite a few pictures.
And I'll pull this report up right now and just send it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Did they fix the roof too already? Have they already done the roof where the tree hit it? I
Yeah,
didn't look
he's
when I
working
was
on
out
it.
there. He was working. on it.
Yeah, he's got
Okay.
most of it done. I think he's got to patch a couple shingles
Okay.
yet
Yeah,
on the very top, but
yeah.
he's got most of it put back together.
And they were out there today, the town crew was out there today working on
Yes.
the tree cleanup, so it
Yeah, I
looks
spotted a dump
already.
truck with the great big honking.
Yeah.
I was like.
Yeah.
you just,
And
you
the
know, let it
wood,
roll.
the trees that are up here are the ones that Spencer is that was part of the deal. Spencer picked what he.
Yeah, the town guys must have
Yeah,
moved those
brought
up
them up
because they
here.
were down below.
Yeah, brought him up here so Spencer's pulp truck driver can come grab those pines. So that was part of the price negotiation for him.
He gave
So
us
He
quite
did,
the
Good
deal.
deal, yes.
Because this amount
I know,
cost us one tree.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, God, yeah.
So Spencer did us a real solid with that for sure, but that means a lot too. So, I think the Fair Association will be happy that the trees are cleaned up because I've been getting lots of questions about that. And now that most of the cleanup is done, we'll come up with a plan for the fence to get the fence back in place before June 26th or whatever it is. So, yeah. So, but it'll be back and secured, so.
And if you could convince Tony to clean up that stuff up on this side of
yeah.
the thing
Yeah.
too, that would be
Let me
very,
write myself a note.
very
So,
handy. Cause there's some brush and logs that are on this side of the fence, right up to the top of
Yeah.
the hill there. That if they could make that stuff go away for us,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yes, I'll ask Tony, so, and then I'll take the guys some snacks. So, yeah. Yeah, so I was just gonna get a bunch of, cookies and maybe some of those little mini cupcakes things, just to have those and coffee and grab some small bottles of water for people. That's what I was just gonna go grab that stuff at Hannaford, like on Wednesday to have for Thursday. You think that's appropriate?
Shouldn't need anything more than that.
Yeah, and then whatever's left, I don't want it, so we'll leave it for
The guys,
the guys.
Put a little donation plate.
I'm gonna bring up throws and I'm bringing my donation jug, so we will have the throws and the donation jug for anybody that wants to, make a donation. And I spoke with Wade today when I talked to him on the phone, about talking to Cody about any donation the Crane Company can offer. And he said, well, did we ever do anything for you? So I'm like, well, no, I don't think we ever, I kind of talked about it with, off and on, but no. And I said, the only thing we ever talked about was with Carl about General Howard's sword when we first chose you folks. So I think we might have some help there somehow, some way. And, he's reached out to he called all of the major television stations, and he also called the Bangor Daily News, because Bangor, of course, is a different news agency than all of this junk we have down here now. That is essentially awful. So, so there's a good chance Bangor Daily News could come and somebody might see it from that end, but Russ Dillingham, I've reached out to him again. So he is going to be here. I sent him the date and time today, so I should hear from him tomorrow. And he does have a drone, so hopefully he'll get his drone up and be able to get some good pictures from there.
who is it that has the relationship with,
Brian Yukono, was Rudy, and Rudy,
right,
tried to get a hold of him but couldn't. I think he talked to,
His father.
yeah,
Well, and I think he also knows the girl that does the, if it happens in Maine.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
right, but yeah, blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did get back to Rudy, but they just want to know when it was going to take place. Rudy had
yeah.
Yeah, no, she's like, if you can't find something to do in Maine, it's your own darn fault.
Yeah, so I'll send Rudy the press
Tell that to a
release and then
teenager.
Rudy can send it along,
Okay.
even though, Wade was reaching out to all the news stations too, but.
I'll put it on, on my page.
Yeah,
when I get
that would
home.
be great. And I sent it to Dennis so Dennis we'll, you know, do the Facebook pages and all of that. So let people know that it's happening.
Sooner as opposed to later, so.
Yeah.
Today's Monday.
Oh, I know. But this has been one of those things, just trying to,
Right. Do we,
so many moving parts to
do
it.
we know when service for Dawn might be?
I haven't heard
Okay.
or seen anything.
Okay, so
I'm
I would,
texting with Ed right now. He's gonna reach out to, Ken? No, what's her husband's name? Ed.
Yes.
They're both Eds.
Yes.
Ed Spencer is who
Yes,
I'm
right,
texting
yeah,
with.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
why I
he-
started to say that. And then I thought, no, that's not right,
Yeah,
darling. He's gonna reach out to Ed and tell him about Thursday
Yeah.
and let him know if he and his son would like to be there.
Yep.
Then he'll let me, Ed Spencer will let you or me know
Yes.
so that.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause I said they would love to have him there, but did not want to assume that they
Right.
could.
Yeah.
it's hard to make
Right.
that call.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I said. It would be hard for any of us to make that call to let him know, and he said he would let them know. Good.
Anything else on where we're headed with?
The Andrew sells that.
Andrew, are you good too, sir?
I'm good. Just, when you figure out that service date, please let us know, because
Oh, yes.
to,
Yeah,
to send something or contribute or just, be aware
exactly.
of that. So,
Yeah, for sure. I will keep you posted about that, so. And I need to write down window picks for Andrew. My notes, my follow-up notes down here, so, okay. I guess that's good. Thank you very much.
okay, thank you. I'll see you guys Thursday.
See you Thursday.
Thanks,
Thanks, Andrew.
Take care.
So, the next thing is invoices. So I have the Paul Designs invoice that is $345 for, it looks like.
3 hours of work.
Yeah, exactly.
I move that we authorize payment of the Paul Designs invoice.
I'll second that. Or Larry can.
No,
All those in favor? Thank you. Nickerson and O'Day, and last I knew, I didn't have one from them. I'll double check right now in case it's sent it since then and I don't see it. But of course, he kept saying to me, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, don't worry about it, so.
And do you wanna,
And then for other, we will,
can we make sure that somehow we give him credit verbally somewhere
well, we
or
will make
written
sure,
somewhere?
you know, everything, anybody that's donated anything
Yeah.
to the project quietly, or, you know, any
Right.
vendors or
Right.
work people, they are going to have their name on a
Yeah,
plaque.
because he
So-
didn't even hesitate.
No, he didn't.
When I told him to contact you, I said, little to no money, Spencer.
Yeah.
Does he have one of those
Yeah.
signs?
He has
One, I saw him at the grocery store the other day, but he was in
Yeah.
a rush, so I just waved.
yeah, he has those small
Maybe
signs
he
he
could
puts.
come and
Yeah.
poke
Yeah.
one in before
Because
Thursday
he
and
is-
put it up.
Yeah.
His grandfather, great grandfather, father, brother. And I think there was a grandmother in there, all graduated from Monmouth Academy.
Right.
Yeah.
So he did it.
Maybe he could,
I'll find out if he's got one that doesn't look like it's been through the
Right,
mill.
yeah.
Hasn't had a tree land on it or a limb.
Saturday at 4, Plummer Funeral Home in Windsor.
Yeah. Cause she.
Wait is 2 to 4, service at 4.
Okay, Allison's graduation from college is at 10 in Wyndham. Okay,
You bet. Saturday at 4 p.m. is the service. It's at Plummer Funeral Home in Windsor.
Windsor.
And the wake is from 2 to 4. Before the funeral at 4.
I'll send that to. Ian. Um. So the next one is line to limb for the tree removal for $1,500.
I move that we pay that.
Okay,
I'll second it.
you're not really related, it's okay.
No, we're not really.
All those in favor? Yeah, and it doesn't look too muddy down there either, so that's.
He did a
that's
good job not tearing
Oh,
things up.
yeah, and even cleaning it up today, even after.
The guys there,
Yeah.
I kept getting the videos and the pictures and I kept sending them to you going, oh my God, look what, oh my God, look at the tree come down.
And I was at a conference.
Yes.
I was watching it and I'm like, I don't dare to play it because, you know, your audio comes on
Yeah.
even if your phone is on silent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, would be, no, not good. So, and so if I I don't know what happened. So. That was weird. So, so I might send it around in an email to get approval and then get it to, the town office for payment, yeah. But going forward, you know, I'll get those and we'll get it squared away. I don't have any updates from the select board or any questions.
It's right on 32. On the funeral home in Windsor is.
Yeah. Oh, 32, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know of anything exciting. I know that Age Friendly, we did get that $10,000 grant that Mary Beth wrote, but they didn't want to publicize it or put it out until like June when they have their announcements.
Okay. Wow.
So,
What is it for again?
And you got it.
Right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for paving that, now we've got the captions are on, so. Weird.
Be careful what we're saying.
I know, the captions are on, so I don't know, we're got a mind of its own over there.
That's great.
So, we'll have that and, I haven't heard anything else.
Very surprised we haven't seen something from Stephen King Foundation.
Yeah, Yeah.
It's usually in March.
yeah, but they changed, didn't they change something about,
I'll have to double check.
new donations, but Rudy's been working on that and book with Darlene and Dr. Bushi and a whole bunch of other people.
And me at 1 in the morning.
Oh, I know, so.
Rudy doesn't sleep well.
No.
I know. So that, and then the other thing, we'll start pulling together things that we can raffle off for the October
They changed the date. I
third. We
think.
changed the date. The
October
date's
3rd.
gonna be October 3rd because it couldn't, the theater was still in the weekend of Apple Fest, but it'll give us a chance to
We can advertise it.
Yeah,
Apple Fest.
exactly, at Apple Fest to put it out that next Saturday we're having this event.
Right.
So that will give us a chance to let people know. But in the meantime, we'll start working on people to donate things to raffle and, have
Much more
that.
will be done by the time, yeah, that's what comes about.
How much will be done? I think they'll be gone from here by June.
Dave told me they wanted to be out of here in 30 days.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
30 days now?
yeah,
Oh, wow. What have they finished up inside?
Well, the bell tower and the handrails, and I'm not sure where they stand on that insulation.
yeah. The last one I talked to Nate, he hadn't heard from Brandon. So I don't know if, and he said, it wouldn't be a bad thing if, but because Brandon could go in there whenever and insulate if that was fine, and, but I think the other thing they had planned was securing that plaster
In the ceiling?
Mhm.
in the ceiling and that sag in the front.
Well, once we get the bell
corner.
tower, there we'll have to talk to Wade and find out where we are money wise,
Yeah,
see if there's anything left.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And,
Frustrating.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, because it would be nice to get that ceiling repaired so that
Yes.
plaster doesn't come down.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
yeah,
That would be a disaster in there.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
like the gymnasium.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of money are we talking about to secure that?
I don't know, Nate was gonna do some quotes on it, but I
Yeah,
don't think he ever got to it before he left.
yeah, yeah. He had sent out that timeline too. Did you see the timeline?
No, I did not.
No, I didn't bring it up with me, but he had kind of a timeline of, what was happening when, and the big thing is they don't want that man left here any longer than they have to because of what it costs to keep a man left here. So they were trying to have it, 2 weeks or a month, and depending on how things played out. And I think it got here last week,
Mhm.
so.
Tail end of last
If they can have it out of here in 2 weeks, that's a bonus for us between fixing the roof and the fascia and from the tree damage, and then the bell tower work, and to have it off-site, as quickly as they can. Cause Nate and I had talked a week or so ago, trying to figure out where we were with this, but I think that's the big thing. So I don't think they're gonna, after this month, I don't think they're gonna be here much into June at all, and that will be the end until some money. I win the megabucks. So.
Mhm.
Yeah, the money from the state, if we are qualified, won't
Mm.
come out until November.
Exactly,
So it's a long
exactly.
way.
Yeah, yeah, but we'll start working on obviously we need to continue to still have our meetings because we've got the fundraiser coming up and
Yep.
just trying to make sure we have that, a plan of attack for that. And, who knows what, hopefully all the news stations will show up and somebody will see something and somebody that didn't know it was happening will offer up their inheritance or something, so.
It'd be good to all the people that we've sent grant applications to see it physically going on. which is
Yes,
really important.
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, the next, so we're looking at June. There's something on the 16th, so it'd either be the 2nd or the 9th. So, and,
Should we go with the 9th because everything should be finished by then and.
That's the night before the election. Will they be setting up in here?
oh, that's right, that's
That's a
right.
town meeting. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly, so. Let's see.
Will it basically be
Fourth.
just needing us to approve the payment of any bills?
Yeah,
or
exactly, that.
Could we
and
conceivably do it like we've done before, an email where we all have to reply individually? I mean, I'm just saying, looking
Or
at
we could
this,
look at, I mean, 4 weeks away is the second, so, I mean, that's the fourth week. So if we wanted to do the second, how does that work for you, Lori? There's all kinds of craziness going on with school.
have to be over there at 6:30. I'll be there during the day, but then I'll need to be over there for a meeting at 6:30, but
Okay.
I could come here at 6, and if we
Yeah.
can do the voting so that
All
I'm
that,
here.
exactly. And because the select board meeting is on the 11th, so
Yes.
if we did the second, does that work for everybody, June 2nd?
Yes, works for me.
Okay,
Second's good.
June 2nd at 6 PM.
okay.
And that should do it. Unless any public wants to comment.
Time is the bell tower event.
11. Yep, so. Anything else? Okay,
Think we're good. Let's get through Thursday.
I move we adjourn.
okay,
I'll second it.
6:55. All those in favor? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I'll do whatever I can to help.
I'm sorry, it seems so weird
Those letters from John.
that she's
First
not
and-
sitting.
Oh, I know.
She always thought,
You
oh,
want
no.
to apply to
You'll have to
the,
sign my name unless
National
something
Registry,
changes, but I.
And just for the
earliest I could have
facade,
gotten
for
here
the
was
front,
on-
because when I talked to Mr. Monet, he said, well, we thought about maybe
Don't
just
worry
doing
about it.
that.
It's fine.
But if we can just verify it, those if
I'd
the
cry
front is
anyways.
as
Oh, I know.
authentic as
I
can
know
be,
you're gonna cry, but.
then
it
I
is
think
what
they
it
would have a
is.
hard time denying us.
Yes.
All we can do is look at that